Welcome to Talking to Bricks with waptek. I'm going to read part of the statements here. Someone makes a statement and then puts it in the form of a question. Is this pandemic man-made? No, it's not. And I'm tired of explaining it to people, so I'm not going to bother anymore. So now you can crow and stomp around on the chessboard and poop on it. 5G can cause flu-like symptoms. No, there's no evidence for it. That's just all there is to it. Everybody you see on the internet that makes that claim refuses to offer you the information as to why that's happening. Okay, if that's actually what happens, would you mind telling me why 5 people out of the millions you claim, you can't claim that 5G's everywhere causing shit, and the majority aren't responding to it? But the virus we're having is evidence of it. Why would that fucking work in any universe? Exomes are scrapings that remove toxins. Why are you saying this shit? The only person who's saying anything about exomes, EXOSOMES, or exomes, being mistaken for viruses is a specific person who is not an expert in the area and didn't do any experimentation. By his own admission, the reason he says what he says is basically a bunch of hooey. And the person we're talking about, a specific doctor that was brought up, Andrew Kaufman, MD, is most likely running an experiment on conservatives and conspiracy theorists because of his previous past. Also, I'd like to point out that I was only kind of half joking. In the first part of one of the videos he shows, it shows his CV, his carte de visite. Everything in there except for one of those things matches up exactly with the person I looked up. It's the same guy. That's it. He's a forensic psychiatrist. He has some medical background, but it's from years ago, and he doesn't show any specialization in diseases, propagation, or any of it. What he does show is that he spent years and years and years studying abnormal psychology, and it looks like this guy's playing you guys for fools. Or he's just trying to become your next hero so he can gain power and maybe get some money out of it. If somebody wants to tell me that they could magically cure my injured shoulder, and very, very specifically make me not bald and get rid of my beard by transferring my beard to my head so I could have a weird haircut, I might be inclined to want to believe this person. Actually, no, I wouldn't. But let's just say I was desperate to get rid of this shoulder injury, which I am actually desperate to get rid of. It's really fucking aggravating me. To the point that I'm absolutely almost panicking about my arm not working for the next month. But it might not work for the next month because it's a shoulder injury. I'm not worried about going bald, otherwise I would fucking do something about it. Probably just shave all my hair off. I'd love to get rid of the beard because this is actually a biological threat to me because every time I shave, I risk getting a staph infection because my immune system is stupid about staph infections. But if somebody told me they could solve all these problems and I was really desperate, or worse, if it was years ago and I was about to lose my legs, I might listen to them. None of you are that fucking desperate. You don't have an excuse. I'm curious as to why you're try to discredit this man. I'm not discrediting him. I'm stating what he says his history is. I looked it up off of his pages. And I'm telling you, the guy has a better fit for somebody messing with all of you who want to believe him instead of looking up shit. Exomes, look up what they are. Look up that word actually has 2 different meanings depending on what context it's in. If he doesn't tell you the context exactly and explains why somebody would mistake a virus for an exome when they're very different sizes, mechanism, and shape, why would he do that? Why wouldn't he explain to you where he's getting these ideas from? And why are you so lazy you won't look up shit? Let's see what this other person says. His knowledge is spot on and in line with other medical professionals. A minority of medical professionals that have stated that viruses don't exist, which has no efficacy and no benefit for you or me and doesn't solve any fucking problems. And every one of those medical professionals, because you won't say doctor because none of them were, or almost none of them anyway, are people who are contrarians who don't solve problems and might end up killing people. Germ theory denialism is useless in medical settings at best and is dangerous at worst and has been shown to be dangerous or lethal in many cases. I work in critical care for 30 years. I don't fucking care. If you're saying that a virus could be easily mistaken for something that doesn't have any characteristics similar to it, and that this person should be listened to, you're still wrong. I'm a Christian. That means nothing. I could be an aardvark. It doesn't change whether viruses exist. It's not a relevant point. Well, I'm saying this as a Christian. Well, I'm saying this as a hippopotamus, atheist, a transdimensionalist. It doesn't change anything. This is a screwdriver. It is a flathead, not a Phillips. That's all it is. It's not relevant what else it might be. This could be made out of candy, this part here. It's not relevant. It's still a screwdriver. Reality, it doesn't give a shit what your opinions are based on. If they're wrong. What are you repeating is not what he said. I don't care what he said in a specific video. There's about a dozen of them. I'm talking about a specific one I'm critiquing. And the specific assertion is, essentially, when he wanders around the point, is that viruses don't exist in the case of coronavirus because he wants it to be his own pet theory, or whatever he's telling you it is. He also stated other reputable sources. No! They are lying about the virus. No, they're not. He is. Period. Because he knows better. Because he studied this. He had to sit in a room to get an MD to be able to learn at least a little bit about diseases. Being a germ denialist and being a doctor is so counterintuitive and so counter to the task that it can be used as a basis for ripping out your fucking medical license. And he's not going to maintain his medical license for this year if he doesn't knock this off. The state of New York has received a complaint from myself and about 50 other people about his shit. Every single one of these assholes who claims to be an MD who did this shit has been turned into the local medical departments, the medical review board, asking, please revoke this person's license and force them to post publicly they no longer have a medical license and that they were punished for doing something dangerous like lying about what this disease is. He's lying. I'm not being nice. Fuck it. You lose a friend to this. Fuck you. You lose a couple of friends, and then you come back here and tell me this shit. Fuck you! I'm not finishing the video. D. Broekner, fuck you! And while we're at it, let's get to this other person who's been a pest and won't acknowledge points. Ray Cole, I really appreciate the video put up. You got a cute video on the channel, but you also are posting contrarian shit for whatever reason. That's fine. When, not if, you lose someone close to you, make sure you show up at their funeral if they let you into it, and tell everybody that they didn't die from a fucking virus. All right? If you're not doing that assertion, then knock it off. We're done. Not everybody has a place at the table. Not everyone, well, we should see both sides. No. Some shit is actually real, and some shit is just a diversion and a tactic. There are a bunch of people on this planet that want to see a high death toll in the United States so they don't look bad when they're hiding their own death toll. Yes, I'm talking about fucking China. China is furious that other countries nearby them, especially South Korea, had a lower death toll per capita. We're able to do a better job. Trump doesn't want to talk about South Korea. When your world leaders do stupid fucking shit that kill off people en masse, almost as bad as Stalin, your only outlet, I guess, is to make the other country look bad by encouraging its population to do stupid shit. Every one of you, this is a surprising thing, but I got to say it, a shit ton of people who proclaim to be liberals really do believe that viruses and vaccines can't work for some reason. Their contrarianism occurs in that end of the spectrum as well. For the last X number of years, I've seen it amplified heavily in the conservative area because people have to hide from reality really hard to realize that the world doesn't revolve around them. And I've grown up, depending on what year it is, around both sides doing this shit. That's why I'm in the middle. I know that being biased this way doesn't help anything. But, Rayco, I apologize. I'm not trying to be mean to you, but stop reposting this shit. Stop it. If it runs counter to what works, stop posting it. It's not a conspiracy to kill off the mass majority of the population or anything. This is a naturally occurring virus. It is doing something we haven't seen before in this particular century. Previous centuries it did. We were spread out all over the planet. We didn't communicate very quickly. We didn't cross borders quickly in airplanes, okay? This last couple of hundred years has been the first time in history we have traversed oceans in months or hours, actually, in most cases these days. Months or weeks for boats. And we're experiencing a virus that has had the opportunity to adapt to modern society and a worldwide population of targets. By the end of the year, it will adapt itself into a dozen different variations that will be regional. That's my prediction. Take it for what it's worth. What you guys are doing is toe the line traditionalist sounding shit. Not really. It's liberal or conservative. It's called hiding from reality. Because we don't know what it is yet. But clinging to methodologies that really didn't work the last 50 times you did it doesn't help. Sorry, Ray. I do like you, by the way. But D, what is your name again? D. Bruckner, stop posting. I'm going to be deleting your comment. I don't even want to hear it anymore. None of you are accomplishing anything, and I know for a fact a shit ton of people in foreign language talking areas for China and also other countries, including the Taliban, if you're not aware of it, are running around acting like Americans as best they can. Sometimes it's cartoonishly bad, trying to convince people in the United States to do shit that will kill as many people as possible because we're more effective terrorists to each other than they are. I'm done. Every contrarian posting concerning this disease will be deleted after I archive it and will not be visible. I will not let you promote horse shit. And I'm going to repeat this one more fucking time. Dr. Andrew something Kaufman, MD, at least in the past, is a psychologist, a forensic psychologist who studied people like freaking guinea pigs. That's my conclusion about him. I have no basis for it, but that's my sinking suspicion. Normally, my sinking suspicions are fairly good. I've got a 75% success rate. That's not considered as good as Nostradamus, but then again, none of his shit came true. Everyone lies about it. Your contrarianism accomplishes nothing, and it's done mostly because you're just trying to be weaseling out of reality. The reality is, except for my arm hurting, the worst I have to deal with is I'm not allowed to come within 6 feet of anybody, not shake hands, and not do anything else I ever didn't do, because I don't do those things, because at one time I was very vulnerable to illnesses. So I learned not to do these things a long time ago. What you guys are told to do that seems so stressful is what I used to do all the time. I have permanent upper respiratory damage, lungs, sinuses, ears, inner ears, from recurring staph infections and viruses and head colds and whooping cough when I was a kid that damaged me, and I never got over it. That's the adaptation I made. It's lonely sometimes. But when, not if, one of you loses a relative, I demand that you go ahead and get in everybody's face about how viruses don't exist. Or about how it's your body releasing toxins. And then they will deal with you in their little tiny community instead of the internet where nobody can get next to you and tell you, shut up. Welcome to the forum. You have been served. You are not permitted to post until you cease and desist doing things that will have the natural effect of causing harm. You may ask questions. I will answer them to the best of my ability. Ignoring my questions and answers when I ask you a question or when I answer yours isn't acceptable. You're not allowed to play that anymore. Anybody posting shit that creates defeatism or a sense of we can't fix anything or causes harm, I'm not letting you post anymore. I don't have to if I don't want to. I'll entertain the ideas. I'll answer your questions. But if you're just trying to kill everybody in America, fuck you.